Well, for me, I think having a design strategy and thinking is fundamental. If all design around the world would have those two ingredients to the fore, I think you'd see a lot of significant changes. There's so much design that's preoccupied with aesthetics and with style that doesn't really think. And therefore they're, for us, fundamental, but we work in a certain way. Not everybody does. So I think those two things, those principles, would be fantastic if everybody adopted them.
No, I think that's right. I mean, let's see, all these projects need intellectual rigor. Yeah, the thinking is, I would always say, it's much more than 60%. Maybe it's 70 or 80%. And then the word design is a dangerous one. Yeah, the designer shop was just funny-looking objects. I think is nonsense. But the fundamental thinking in design is the most important thing man probably has to solve the problems in the future. So I would argue the sustainable future is a design problem if you define design as a thinking exercise. Yeah?
It can still be fun.
It can still be fun, but at the end, maybe you can die having lots of fun.
Just say, I think that there is some, the answer to that is that there are many individuals and many sources of inspiration that are around. I think that everything that we do is very much a team effort, and I think all of us, through our own private study and the work we do together, try to make ourselves aware of as much as we can, and therefore we are all interrelated and dependent on what others are doing, particularly in issues to do with sustainability. There are many people working on that, and just as much as we can learn from them, they learn from us. And the problems are so big that I think it can't just be one source. Sustainability is a very broad church in that sense, and therefore there are many, many different aspects to it, and therefore it needs a lot of specialist knowledge from history, from today, and from what the future's likely to produce.
I think I've been obviously thinking about your question. No one has invented sustainability. I think some people say, well, I'm already bored with the word sustainability, but on the other hand, I think it is mankind's realization that everything that has been going on in philosophy, thinkers, whether it's Kant and his imperative that you shouldn't do anything that you wouldn't want the other person to do yourself. So, well, that probably is the beginning of sustainability, but then you can go to Greek and Roman and other philosophers and you find similar things there. Or you go to the Brundtland report, which people sometimes say is the beginning of the definition of sustainability, not to do anything that impacts future generations in a negative way, which kind of is that. It's all around. There is no one who started it. And I think mankind is just getting clearer and clearer that there's also no way around it. And we have great people that we adore. Buckminster Fuller is one of the great thinkers of the 21st century, but then as soon as you say one name, you have to say, well, other people have said so as well. I think it's a very slippery and dangerous road to come up. Those are the three most important people. I mean, David and I have been doing it for as long as our professional life. So you sometimes meet a child on the street and they kind of say an interesting thing and it makes you think. So did he invent that, or was it his or her idea? Or I talked to my 100-year-old grandmother. So from Kant to my grandmother.
Great.
Well, we can't use the argument of looks, can we?
Not today. I think the thing is that it's a bit. What I've learned over the years, just being involved with architecture and projects like that, is that it encapsulates so much. You know, to be an architect, you have to know all sorts of things that you never get taught at college. So you have to be quite a good accountant. You have to be a bit of a politician, a diplomat. Helps if you're a designer somewhere in there as well, and also working with people. So from our point of view, I think the subject matter that we're doing, and particularly scaling up from architecture per se to a city dimension is really the biggest of big pictures. And that's not to devalue anybody who's working on elements along the way, because that's all very important as well. But I suppose come to us because we're the biggest scan might be one strategy. What would you say?
Well, I think if you look at the topic, if we probably have one of the more serious topics, but let's just say we'll try to do it in the most provocative and entertaining way. But it is a very serious topic, and we will treat it that as a topic, but then for the audience we'll try to smile once or twice. Well, maybe they'll come back. I always, if a few people leave, a few people from the audience leave and say, that was really, really interesting, I haven't actually thought about it in such a way, and maybe this influences the way they think and live their lives or their professional development just a little bit, I think then that's that would be a great job satisfaction. Same the other way, if I go back from an event, and quite often you give, but then you get some questions which make you think, or some comments afterwards which suddenly get your brain going. So if we go back and go, that was actually really interesting, or we haven't thought about that. It can't. Maybe people don't even give you a solution, but they ask you a question that provokes.
So it would be participation,
Yeah?
I suppose.
I think that's what we would like to get out of it.
I think the conference gatherings of people together like that, particularly on the kind of subject matter that is going to be the centre for this, they are very important occasions. I mean, you know, through the course of a year, we may attend 3 or 4. You know, they're not many because of other time commitments and things that we have to do. So they are. You tend to pick one of the most important ones, one of the most significant ones, because time is precious. So I think whenever we do go, we try and get whatever we can from it, and try and participate, and obviously leave things for other people.